Welcome back to RVN TV Morning Coffee. My name, as was true 2 minutes ago, I'm Al Cini, and you are?
I'm Joe Asamendi.
Joe Asamendi, and
Yes,
we have a
indeed.
great guest. His name is Len Garza of Garza Law, LLC, zooming in for an interview today from his office in Princeton, New Jersey. Len, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Al and Joe, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, I think that's great.
That's
Why don't we
good.
start with that? Tell us what you do.
Sure. I'm a business lawyer. I help businesses. I help small businesses, entrepreneurs, up through the middle market, more established businesses with lots of employees, other partners, and really help them with just about any type of business issue, whether it's a new company looking to form, not quite sure of where to start. There are a lot of different legal entities to start with, or whether you're an established company needs help reviewing agreements from vendors, drafting agreements, or you're looking at mergers and acquisitions. You're looking to acquire businesses or perhaps sell your business, and what things do you need to be thinking about from a legal perspective. I help with all those things.
And you're a real lawyer. I mean, you're not a virtual downloaded lawyer from something like a LegalZoom. Talk about the advantages of dealing with a real person.
Excellent. So important, right? So what I find is a lot of my clients who come to me are ones that may have previously tried to do it yourself, go online, and I get the temptation. I understand doing it, but when you really realize what's at stake, it's penny wise and pound foolish. You get what you pay for. And a lot of those sites in their disclaimers actually say, look, we're not responsible if anything goes wrong with this. Yeah. So that's not very comforting. Obviously, that's the small print. But even more than that, you want to make sure you don't just get a form where you can plug in names and think you're all taken care of. It's a false sense of confidence. False sense of security. You need to go to an attorney who has years of experience, not just any attorney, but years of experience with businesses doing these specific type deals that are important to you. And we can tell you that an agreement, non-disclosure agreement, confidentiality, partnership agreement, something that may look good on its surface, have some legalese, keywords, we can actually show you where the holes are, and many times these things are full of holes, glaring mistakes that to the untrained eye you just won't see. But to the trained eye, we can see, and we can help you keep you adequately protected. It's just too important to leave outside of getting expert help. You need that expert help.
Len, what opportunities are available during this COVID-19 for people who want to start a business?
Right. So I think that's a great question. People may be looking out there and saying, start a business and all this, what sense does that make? And actually, it's quite counterintuitive. I'm sure it may sound surprising to some of your viewers, but it can be a great time to start a business in the middle of a recession, or COVID, which is basically what we're going through. Provided you have a few important things. It can't be on a whim. You have to have a solid business idea, something that you're confident in. You have a strong purpose behind wanting to get into this, and also a way that you can make revenue, and that you have a vision for it. So it's so important. And if you have all those things, then talking to advisors like myself, banks, other vendors, as you're starting to get started up, a lot of times you can find a favorable market for their services in a downturn that can allow you to get started and really catapult your business once this recession's over with. And a lot of your potential competitors as a business may be struggling, likely are struggling, dealing with the recession, dealing maybe with employees or things that are problems, not wanting to lay off employees, their staff, some of their technologies that you won't have since you're just starting out. So it can be an excellent entry point. Proceed with caution, but it can be excellent and definitely something to consider.
Well, it's funny, as you were talking, I was thinking, usually when everybody is saying something's a bad idea, that's exactly the time that it's a good idea. And so for people out there who might be thinking about starting a business, I know there are a lot of ways they can incorporate. There are a lot of alternatives. It's kind of dizzying, LLC, Subchapter S. What are some of those, and what are some of those possibilities, and how do you help people pick which one's right for them?
Exactly. So there are a lot of different types, just from any quick reading online or any business newspaper, all your readers, I'm sure everybody's heard of a corporation. Many may have heard of LLCs, S corps, partnerships. These are all business types. You can form as any one of these, but it's highly fact specific to your situation. Another reason that you need an expert to help you out. You go to one of these sites online, they'll say, "Oh, this is great. This is the perfect type business for everybody." LLC, corporation, LLCs are perfect. LLCs are a great business type for the right type of business. They're absolutely the wrong business type if you're a very specific type of business. For example, one looking for high growth, maybe potential outside investors from venture capital, private equity in the future. For example, they commonly like to see corporations, specifically C corps. That's just one example. C corps versus LLCs or other entities. So there are all these different things to take into account. And again, it's important to talk to an expert who knows about this and can walk you through and ask you, look, what's your vision for the company? It's important to know, to have that vision. What's your vision a year out, 3 years out, 5 years out? Because to the extent you've thought of that, it's important in deciding how you want to structure. And to the extent you haven't thought of that, is some businesses that I deal with have not. Now's the time to have that conversation. Now's the time to start thinking about that strategy and where you want to be. It'll just set you up for much more success going forward.
Well, since you brought that up, if I log on to LegalZoom, I start with an answer, and then they help me with paperwork. A great thing about having a connection like you, Len, is that as a lawyer, I can call you with a challenge. You can help me sort through how to address that challenge in a bespoke way that's custom to me, and that's not something you can get from a website.
Right, exactly. So hey, even if you've gone to LegalZoom, you've got something you're not sure, that doesn't take you out of the picture for going to me. I deal with clients quite frequently who've gotten their documents online from LegalZoom, other sites, from other attorneys, what have you. They want me to review them, go over them. I deal with those situations all the time. So even if you think your situation is a little bit messier, you're not starting with a clean slate. You've maybe started on something online or with another attorney, and you're just not quite sure, you're not quite confident. You need a second set of eyes, a second opinion, if you will. Maybe you want to go a different direction. That's a perfect time to call me. I help my clients out of those binds all the time.
What's the best advice you can give someone that wants to start a business right now?
The most successful advice isn't necessarily legal, but it's highly important. I hear this advice a lot out there, and it's very true, is know your why. Know why you're doing this, why you are starting a business, because it's going to get tough. There are going to be times where no matter how confident you are, how much experience, how many years you may have been in a previous business, any successes you've had, now you're on your own and you're getting started, and you're going to have that confidence and the will and the drive and the grit. Where are you going to get that from? And that comes from the why, knowing why you're doing it. Only the business owner, only you can answer that. But if you have an answer, and it's crucial that you have an answer, then you've set yourself up to get through the hard times. And when you do that, it's incredibly rewarding. It's one of the most rewarding things in life.
That's great advice. What else do you cover in your practice, in your field?
Sure. So within the umbrella of business law, some people say, okay, business law, great. Well, what is that? Well, I help businesses with general business legal counseling. They may think they have some risks. For example, you may be a founder, a sole founder, and thinking, oh, I really hit it off with this other person or this other group of individuals. I want to start some type of a relationship with them, but I want to protect myself. I want to make sure I'm protected. I'm not quite sure what to do. I know what to do. Talk to me. We'll talk through the risks, some of the conditions, things you need to have in there. A lot of times it ends up with me drafting an agreement for you, or if the other side has an agreement, me reviewing that and negotiating with them, or at least showing you where the risks are. So that's what I do. M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So businesses or even entrepreneurs looking to buy a business, sell a business, form a business. It's fraught with a number of issues that you need to be aware of the risks, and I can help you through that. I can help you guide you through that. The biggest purchase, they talk about a lot of people, the biggest asset that they own throughout their lives is the house. Well, a lot of times not so if you're a business owner, if you're own business. Unless you're a serial entrepreneur, who buys and sells businesses, even then you need expert help. Especially if you're not that, and for example, you've run your business for decades, or even less, and you're looking to sell or buy, it's the first time you've done it, you absolutely need expert help to make sure that you won't get taken advantage of, and make sure you get the proper value for this business, your baby, the thing that you've nurtured. Make sure you get proper value for it, for your hard work.
You know, Len Garza, you sound like a wartime consigliere, and I've always wanted to meet one of you guys. Now we actually have one. I mean, if push comes to shove, you'll fight for me, won't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I think in my experience, you get more, what's the saying? You get more with honey than vinegar. I'm sure I butchered that statement, but you know, that's what I find helps in working with these clients. But early in my career, I came from a litigation background. I was in court all the time. I see how these agreements break up. Partnership disputes, they call them business divorce. You know, you get into business thinking it's going to go great, and then something goes sideways, and one side suing each other, threatening letters, or going back and forth, and the business at risk. People's lives are at risk. I saw that on the front end. So now I help my clients, and I bring that out, and I say, look, I know we're all thinking about the good things that are going to happen with this, but let's also make sure we have the risk taken care of and get that tied up. Even though they can be unpleasant things to think about, what to do if negative things happen in the business, it's so much better to prepare before you get into it, and that way it's much clearer down the road. So I definitely fight for my clients if necessary, try to avoid, but if it's necessary and they need a firm hand, a firm position, I have absolutely no issue with that, and that's how my clients are best served, with both of those approaches if necessary.
That's great.
Yeah, Len, where can our viewers get some more information about who you are and where they can reach you?
Sure. So you can go to my website, LLCs.com. Garza Law LLC. I think there's another firm elsewhere in the nation, so make sure you put Len Garza, Garza Law LLC in your Google search box, and that'll come up for me. And you can see much more detail about what I do, client testimonials, some blog articles, and some other videos. So you can really get to know more about me, more than you've seen in this interview, and really make sure and see, hey, if I'm the one that can really help you. I'd love the opportunity to work with you. I'm also available by phone, 208-557-8705, and my other contact information, like email address and such, is available on my website.
That's great, Len. You were also saying you could serve clients anywhere in the Northeast?
Anywhere in the Northeast. So I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I serve clients in all of those states, and anywhere you need information, anywhere you need legal advice, I can help you out.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today on Morning Coffee, Len. It was a pleasure talking with you about what you do. And we'll be back with more Morning Coffee after these messages.
Thanks,
Alan,
Len.
Joe, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Len.
Power networkers in the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. So join me every week, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break, and now on Fridays at 9 and 9:30 p.m. We'll see you next week.